Hello. Today is going to be really scuffed. I'm so sorry about that, but it is the way it is. I'm just waiting for them to make sure my stream shows on my end before I get... It's going to be really scuffed. Okay, it is. Alright, if you're watching this feature, hello. I'm back to playing Doctor Dekker. Overall progress 43%. So I guess I'm not even halfway through the game yet. Huzzah. Okay. So let's continue on. I'm also eating chips, so it might be a little silent during some of the parts. I'm going to try not to have chip eating in your ears.
Midnight each day.
On Valentine's night,
Time as you know it freezes.
20 minutes past 10.
Keep up, Doctor.
Thinks we're going to smother her in her sleep.
I'm a grave digger, Doctor.
I was at home,
David is my husband.
all on my lonesome.
Stabbed him with a steak knife.
Nothing changes.
I'm a qualified angel of death.
When I'm dancing,
You get this day over and over.
Hilda.
I black out,
I don't think she's got long.
And Laurie just...
naked on the beach.
Hannah.
Is that it for today?
David hunts,
I can change my skin.
then skins.
Dr. Dekker dated his patients.
I had a hot date.
We went out for drinks.
I took photos of Jessica.
Dr. Dekker did
On
phone
Valentine's Day.
and ask me for Nathan's number.
There was a girl there.
Am I wrong to keep the locket?
I'm allowed to talk to her, aren't
He
I?
was preoccupied with finding
Photographs.
patterns.
Rocking chair.
I haven't been back to the beach since,
I had a bit of a shaky loop incident.
where I find something
I set fire
beautiful in the sea.
to Hannah's clothes in the garden. I dug the grave.
I wish I'd said goodbye.
Dr. Dekker cursed me.
It didn't weigh enough to have a body in it.
Okay, that's right. I don't think we got far today. On this day. Oh, you gotta talk to her again. Oh, just Ben. Okay, David Castleford. Oh, we talked to Claire quite a bit. Okay. So, if you're wondering about the title, we had quite the reveal. There was a sus way that Claire was talking about her and David meeting. I think she mentioned it, her previous husband, who's dead. She just says he's alive. Supposedly she raised him from the dead. But, I guess I should explain the concept of the game if you're somehow watching part 5 and you haven't seen the rest of them. We're trying to catch one of the murder. One of the patients probably murdered the previous doctor, psychiatrist. And so we're trying to figure out who did it. So each one of them has a different, thing going on with them. Claire believes she stabbed her husband and killed him, and believes that she resurrected him and that he's alive. Bryce is a gravedigger who gets an extra hour every night, so time freezes for everybody else but him. He's also a creep. He's been taking pictures of women and doing things like stealing and stuff like that. This is our assistant. She is doing grief counseling, quote unquote, and we're also getting stuff from her previously happened. We do know, we do know that she's the one who hired us, basically. She's the one who was like, hey, this is the dude you want to talk to, or the dude you want to hire and replace Dr. Dekker. She apparently been responsible for the last 5 doctors being hired on, and the trust basically trust her. Apparently this practice is run by trust. We'll talk about him in a moment. Elin is a nurse who works at a hospice center. She's not wearing the necklace today. She's not wearing a necklace today. Interesting. The necklace, by the way, is a necklace she got from one of her previous patients that she gave it to her. She works in hospice and she can supposedly change her skin. So she tells them to think, the patients, she tells them to think whoever they'd like to see the most, and basically helps them tie up loose ends in their mind, at least. They don't actually, of course, talk to the people. But she basically just tries to give them peace of mind before they go. But her patients had also been giving her stuff. And I kept trying to ask, like, if they were giving to her while her skin was supposedly changed. What do you got in your pocket? What is in your pocket?
No.
Okay. Sometimes sometimes the random stuff they do on the clips actually means something, and sometimes they don't. Also, supposedly Bryce saw a lady behind us, like a ghost, possibly. I don't know. He never brought up ghosts before. Mariana is a problem child. She's wearing a different dress today. She's been waking up on the beach naked, having blackouts and not remember how she gets there. However, she also potentially went out on a date with Dr. Dekker. He's apparently may have been hitting on some patients or dating some patients previously. Dr. Dekker being the guy who was killed. So that's her thing. She apparently could also hold her breath really long underwater. And of course, if you see the necklace, it's got a Kraken-esque. So Kraken-esque, more like octopus. I don't know. Nathan, what's his stick again? Oh, he loops. He's been repeating days, he thinks. The funniest thing is with him is that we've experienced a loop supposedly with him. However, our assistant did point out, Jaya did point out that he comes in every day, wears the same clothes, and then greets her the exact same way every day. So it's very possible that his loop is self-enforced, basically, that he's going through like a depression thing where he thinks he's repeating the same day just because he's choosing to make the same choices every day. And the only time it changes is that something significant happens, he says. So he'll repeat some days in a row, and then apparently after Dr. Dekker died, he had 2 weeks of no loops, which he does say. He does. Do I have it? Here's my notes, by the way. Believe a patient did it. Let's see. Where goes go to Nathan's? Where did Dr. Dekker cause? He didn't want to wear the same clothes and gives her the same greeting every day. For at least 2 weeks. Oh yeah, he also played World of Warcraft with his sweetheart who died, I think. She had an accident and she apparently died on Valentine's Day. He played World of Warcraft, but he said that he leveled up a human necromancer, but there's no necromancer class in the game. I'm proposing Goldshire, which is like, you can get there in level 5, so I'm confused. He had to get a higher level, so that way. Anyway. I didn't add this. Nathan says Dr. Dekker cursed him. Well, see, the motive with Nathan, I think, is that if Nathan did do it, then he did it because he believes Doctor Dekker cursed him with the loop days. He originally was Gear 4. Made him have loop days. Okay. I keep saying I like telling myself that I'm going to. What is going on? Okay. Okay, so she's. Okay. Stopped to the beach. Last time we talked to her, she stopped going to the beach. Or last time, yeah. Stopped going to the beach and stopped having blackouts. Okay. Alright. Where were we? We were with Claire. And then kind of Bryce. So then we're going to start off back here.
I'm actually a classically trained pallbearer. There are a lot of health and safety considerations. Not everybody can do it. Well, properly at least. Occasionally I step in if the funeral director is short-shouldered. I do remember her face. She wasn't upset in the usual way. She seemed agitated. Her husband must have been a giant. The coffin was so heavy. I remember because aft port side sprained his ankle. That and he wasn't lifting correctly. Don't know. I don't know what you're getting at.
I'm so glad. Wasn't lifting properly.
In simple terms, I've got nothing
Of
to
course
say.
not. So basically, you're just supposed to type and get like certain keywords supposed to trigger stuff. I really want to know about that David Castleford. David Castleford, by the way, is Claire's husband. And Bryce is talking about the fact that
I'm actually a classically trained pallbearer.
pallbearer. Okay, she was agitated.
No. You have an interesting aura, Doctor.
We'll ask about that, I guess. Interesting aura.
I don't often see auras, Doctor.
Okay, apparently he wants to tell me
Yours
something.
is unusual. Like, you're more than one person. Maybe I've had a few too many drams.
Also, so Nathan at one point during his loop day started breaking the fourth wall. Like, he was like, I seem like you're one of the people behind the keyboard, so to speak. And it's like, okay. Cool. You're more than one person.
I'm actually a classically trained pallbearer.
So I'm going to
There
repeat
are a
myself
lot
quite
of
a few
health and
times.
safety considerations. Not everybody can do it. Well, properly at least. Occasionally I step in if the funeral director is short-shouldered. I do remember her face. She wasn't upset in the usual way. She seemed agitated. Her husband must have been a giant. The coffin was so heavy. I remember because aft port side sprained his ankle. That and he wasn't lifting correctly. I find using nautical terms to describe the position of pallbearers fitting. Plus, most of them are 3 sheets to the wind. You know, drunk.
That's nice. Okay. So the little 2 marks, orange means that we can still got something to talk about. Green is basically like a little smaller thing, and this is more important.
No.
Am I spelling agitated wrong? I don't know.
Dr. Dekker frequently used that paper spike
The-
on his desk
The paper
as
spike,
an example. I'm sure
being
he
what
did
he
it with
was
the other
killed with.
patients too. He'd make me look at it, touch the point to see how sharp it was. He'd tell me that because I think it's sharp, it will hurt me. But if I thought it was nothing, it could pass right through my hand. In the last couple of sessions I had with him, he put the spike through his hand. He'd be grinning at me while he was doing it. No blood, no nothing. He tried to make me do the same, but I wouldn't.
Okay. Last couple of sessions. Kept putting the spike through his hand and tried to get patients to do it as well. Because she's not the only one that said that. I think Eileen said that too. Okay. Heavy.
Is that supposed...
No. Castleford. Agitated.
I've nothing interesting.
Castleford heavy.
That means nothing.
I'm sorry, what? What did you say? Vienna.
In simple terms,
How was she agitated? Am I spelling
that means nothing.
Am I spelling that right? I'm just gonna look at my phone real quick. Yeah, I'm spelling that right. Excuse me. He's just annoying the ever-living heck out of me is what he's doing. Okay.
I'm actually a classically trained
Sorry, you're probably
pallbearer.
heard this about a million times,
There
so I
are a
figured
lot
this
of
out.
health and safety considerations. Not everybody can do it. Well, properly at least. Occasionally I step in if the funeral director is short-shouldered. I do remember her face. She wasn't upset in the usual way. She seemed agitated. Her husband must have been a giant. The coffin was so heavy. I remember because aft port side sprained his ankle. That and he wasn't lifting correctly. I don't know. Don't know.
Okay. Riveting. I keep putting the coffin was heavy, the coffin was heavy, the coffin was heavy. Okay, I want to go back to Claire. I guess until we figure that out. You know what? No, I do want to, I guess, bullshit, because I kind of need to know, because supposedly Claire, the body,
I don't know what you...
coffin, body.
No.
Do you know if there was a body in the coffin?
I've nothing interesting.
Was it heavier than usual?
Is that supposed to...
Yes. Oy vey. Health and safety concerns.
In simple...
Did you see the body in the coffin?
Don't know.
The body.
I've nothing interesting.
Clear.
I don't know what you're getting.
You know how David died?
No. Sorry.
Ah! Ah! Oh yeah, also Dr. Dekker apparently tried to fire the assistant, which wasn't going to go through because she basically has a lot of power. So she's assistant, but she's more like a boss, since she's apparently the one hiring people. Oh no.
I'm actually a classically trained pallbearer. There are a lot of health and safety considerations. Not everybody can do it. Well, properly at least. Occasionally I step in if the funeral director is short-shouldered. I do remember her face. She wasn't upset. Is that supposed to mean... That means nothing.
Her husband must have been a giant. The coffin was so heavy. Was the coffin heavier than usual? Normal.
I don't know.
How heavy was the coffin?
No. Sorry.
Was it a open casket funeral? Did you see... Or you asked him if he saw the body. Ah!
In simple terms,
Of course, you got
I've got
nothing
nothing to say.
Alright. I will come back. David Castleford.
That's not something I...
Clear.
Have you been taking notes in our session?
Okay. What about your mom? I really want to know about the body, but he's not answering my questions. Alright. Let's go back to the beginning.
I didn't speak to her this time. Something about her made me feel uneasy. I just watched her from the bedroom window. She'd caught a fish. She was holding it in her hands. Oh, I found the key. It must have been there all along, in a drawer in the hallway. I could have sworn I'd looked there already.
So, previously she couldn't get into the bedroom or something to check on David.
I wasn't close enough to see, but for all intents and purposes, it looked as if the fish bit her. The steak knife was the closest, sharpest weapon I could lay my hands on. I didn't really have much time to think about it. A paper spike is an odd thing to use as a weapon. I suppose if it went directly into the heart, it might work. Or through his eye, or perhaps through the ear and into his brain. Or was it just a frenzied, bloody mess of a murder? Do you know, Doctor?
He was stabbed a bunch of fucking times, but we're not gonna tell her that, I don't think. Not if I don't have to.
He's buried at Henley Church. You can go see for yourself. There's even a headstone. One of your other patients was a pallbearer. I never forget her face. You should ask him. Bryce was a pallbearer for David. He's also a gravedigger, I believe. I'm afraid I don't know the answer to that. Smuggling a body out of a funeral can be difficult, unless you pay the right people.
That's what I needed to know. What day right now? I should tell he's been smuggling bodies. That is true. That's not...
I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about, Doctor. I saw Claire Castleford's husband in the coffin myself before carrying him to the grave. He is in the ground. I'm sure it wouldn't take much for the police to get an order to have him exhumed. Just make sure it's done on Tuesday morning when I'm off.
It's a back and forth, huh? Okay, apparently that's what I was missing. Oh my goodness. Okay.
Well, that's what he would say, isn't it? Oh, I found the key. It must have been there all along, in a drawer in the hallway. I could have sworn I'd looked there already. You don't have to analyze everything I say, Doctor. Sometimes a hallway is just a hallway. And yes, before you ask, the same goes for the drawer.
That's my job. Crunch, crunch, crunch. I think I'm gonna finish this whole bag, actually.
David was dazed and confused when I brought him back to life, as you'd expect. He was scared. He didn't want me to go near him at first, which is understandable, as I did kill him. But I didn't really succeed in bringing him back. He wasn't a big talker before, but even monosyllabic words were more than what he seemed able to give me. Sorry, I don't know. Yes, resurrection. But now that I've seen the results, I don't think there's anything holy about it. I think reanimation is more an accurate term. Like, I'm an evil necromancer raising things from the dead. I think his brain was already decaying during the week that he was dead. Important bits. So when I brought him back to life, I didn't heal him completely. Just gave him life in the state he was in. I mean, he's hunting and killing things and trying to roast them on fires he can only light with matches, but that's about it. He's your basic Neanderthal. So I have a problem. I'm being charged with murder because the police don't know he's still alive, and I can't get David to vouch for me for obvious reasons. I think it would raise quite a few more questions than answers, which is why I'm hoping that you'd be able to help me. Think, Doctor, think. Use your brain. Or your notes if you have to. I'm being charged with murder because the police... Considering the circumstances, I'd be grateful if you could see your way to declaring me temporarily insane at the time of the murder. To lessen my sentence. Because I'm not a killer. But I can't prove otherwise. You don't still think I'm a killer, do you, Doctor?
Clear. Let's say theoretically you did in fact bring him back to life. You still murdered the man. And first, before we get into that, before I answer you, why are those gray? Interesting. When you talk about this.
It didn't happen. Dr. Dekker called me from his house to cancel. He was furious. He said that Iris had escaped and he blamed me for it. He said that I must have set her free after he told me about her. I knew it was all lies anyways. He was obviously titillating himself by reprimanding me. He knew I'd never want to speak to Iris again, so I couldn't prove it either way.
Yeah. So I asked how old Iris is when, because apparently from my understanding, Claire and David had quite a bit of age gap, and she met him when she was like 17, and I think he was much older. So I was like, okay, how old is Iris, the woman that he's been cheating on with Claire with, and this is why she stabbed and killed him. And that was the response. So I was like, what?
A paper spike isn't.
So let's, I guess, talk about Dr. Dekker.
That's not relevant here. I'm getting tired of all these questions. I'm getting tired of everything.
Cool. I'm not going to declare you temporarily insane. That's not happening. Especially since we only had like 3 sessions. By the way, another point of interest is that she went to see Dr. Dekker almost immediately after murder, and he's the one who convinced her that she can raise David from the dead. So, according to her. Okay, let's talk about the steak knife.
The steak knife was the closest, sharpest weapon I could lay my hands on. I didn't really have much time to think about it. Try asking me.
Did David attack you? Which I don't think so.
I don't know what you're after.
Cool. David cheating?
I don't know what you're after.
When... Okay. So she saw, Dr. Dekker that day, and I think somebody else saw Dr. Dekker that day. I think it was Elin. And he wanted Nathan's number. What did you and Dr. Dekker talk about?
Think, Doctor, think.
Thanks. Closest weapon.
I'm getting tired of all.
How many times did you stab David?
It didn't happen. David wanted to have a talk about our relationship.
Okay.
Not something any married person wants to hear. He said he'd been with Iris for about a year and that he loved her. He said he didn't love me anymore. Which I know is a lie. You don't just fall out of love with somebody. I reacted badly. I grabbed the nearest weapon I could find, which happened to be the steak knife, and stabbed him with it. There was so much blood. I instantly regretted it. So I fixed him.
Here's the thing. She instantly regretted it, but she didn't call the police. A neighbor did. And she didn't plan on fixing him at that time. You call the police after you stabbed him. Okay. Let's go talk to Bryce. Bryce, hi. Claire says you lying.
Don't know.
Cool. Um. How do I get the conversation with Iris first? I don't want to answer this. I know what she's asking.
Considering the circumstances, I'd be grateful if you could see your way to declaring me temporarily insane at the time of the murder. To lessen my sentence. Because I'm not a killer. But I can't prove otherwise. You don't still think I'm a killer, do you, Doctor?
Yeah, okay. Yes, I do think you are a killer, even if you brought David back.
At worst, it's manslaughter. I didn't mean to kill him. I just stabbed him.
You didn't call the police afterwards.
And although he was dead for a week, I brought him back to life. Does this mean you won't help me? Was I temporarily insane?
No, I will not help you.
I'm going to pretend that I didn't hear that. Let's have a few more sessions before you seal our fates.
Well, I'm glad
Or
you
is it
think
that
so.
You want something else, like Dr. Dekker did.
Oh! Dr. Dekker wanted something else?
Dr. Dekker teased me mercilessly about my electability. He didn't believe I'd reanimated David.
Even though he's the one who suggested it?
Once, he presented me with a dead mouse and commanded me to give it life again. I didn't, of course. It's not something I'd throw around lightly. He changed his mind about me eventually. And then he mentioned the girl. I'm afraid I don't know the answer to that.
He mentioned the girl?
He told me he'd locked up a girl in the basement of his house.
What?
Just for me. And he asked me to reanimate her. It was Iris. I said I couldn't reanimate something that wasn't dead, and he said that wouldn't be a problem. So I agreed. I just played along. I was hoping it wasn't real. I assumed it wasn't real. But he was offering me what I wanted. A temporary insanity diagnosis.
Whee! Claire says that the girl in Dr. Dekker's basement what happened with Ben? Ask the patients about the paper bags too much to do today. Okay. That's how we got there. How interesting. 3 months ago. Okay. Claire says Dr. Dekker kidnapped Iris and trapped her in his basement and asked offered Diagnosis. Interesting.
Dr. Dekker teased me mercilessly about my electability.
Okay.
He didn't believe I'd reanimated David. Once, he presented me with a dead mouse and commanded me to give it life again. I didn't, of course. It's not something I'd throw around lightly. He changed his mind about me eventually. And then he mentioned the girl.
Changed his mind?
Dr. Dekker asked if I could prove David wasn't dead, so I took him to the lake house. He saw that I was telling the truth. I can take you to see him too, if you like. Would you like to see David, Doctor?
Yes, I would like to see David.
Very well. In our next session.
Okay, let's get back to you.
Dr. Dekker asked if I could prove David wasn't dead, so I took him to the lake house. He saw that I was telling the truth. I can take you to see him too, if you like. Would you like to see David, Doctor?
Okay. When did Dr. Dekker go to the lake house?
I think it was a mistake taking Dr. Dekker to see David. Dr. Dekker wanted to examine him, so they went into a different room. I wasn't worried. David wouldn't speak,
What did he talk about?
but Dr. Dekker seemed very distant after that. He didn't say a word on the way back.
He seemed different. Dr. Dekker didn't say anything on the way back.
That's not relevant.
What did you say?
I think it was a mistake taking Dr. Dekker to see David. Dr. Dekker wanted to examine him, so they went into a different room. I wasn't worried. David wouldn't speak, but Dr. Dekker seemed very distant.
Okay. Dr. Dekker seemed distant.
Try asking me something. Sorry.
Cool.
A paper spike is an odd thing to use as a weapon.
That's the thing I'm not going to answer.
David was dazed and confused when I brought him back to life, as you'd expect. He was scared. He didn't want me to go near him at first, which is understandable, as I did kill him. But I didn't really succeed in bringing him back. He wasn't a big talker before, but even monosyllabic words were more than what he seemed able to give me.
David did not want you near him at first.
I don't know.
All right. We'll maybe come back to her. Well, let's go ahead and talk to Bryce since we've already started talking. Hello.
I don't know.
Okay. Sorry. Hello.
Hello, Doctor. I've been thinking about our last session, and I just wanted you to know that I'm not a bad person. I know taking naked photographs is wrong, but you don't know what it's like until you face the same temptation. I'm assuming you don't know what it's like. Do you have an extra hour, Doctor?
Sorry, I got chills all of a sudden. you know, from what he was saying, and I guess because I'm just cold. Ugh. 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 No, my good sir, no. I do not have an extra hour.
Thank God for that.
What?
There's someone else in my hour.
Oh, whoa,
A
whoa, whoa.
hooded figure.
Oh, okay.
Watching me and following me. I followed it too.
You followed it.
I don't know what you'll get.
You followed the hooded figure.
I don't know who it is.
Okay.
My initial thought was that it was you. That I told you about
Why?
my affliction and somehow you'd got it too. Now I think maybe it's the military or some organization that wants to use the hour themselves. Maybe it's Dr. Dekker risen from the dead. I need to talk to you about him. I spied on Dr. Dekker not long before he was murdered.
Okay.
I'm not sure I should tell you what I saw
Tell me.
in his basement.
Was there a girl? In. You let her escape. It was you.
I'd been feeling uneasy with Dr. Dekker for
Tell me the
I
details.
mentioned how he'd changed before.
Yes.
So I began spying on him at home.
Okay. You
One
creepy
night,
stalker.
the basement door was open, and Dekker was returning upstairs. I skipped past him, and there she was, a girl. It was difficult to tell. It was dark, and she was chained. Is that supposed to mean?
Did you free the girl?
I've nothing.
The girl.
That means nothing.
Yes, Vienna. She was chained in his basement.
I removed the chains, dressed her, and sat
Oh, she
her
was
in the
naked.
police station.
Oh.
There's no evidence, though. No evidence of what he'd done. But she was free. I saved her. I'm not evil. I destroyed evil. I believe that Dr. Dekker was a truly evil man, and so should you. I know you record these sessions, Doctor.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to be filmed saying I wanted him dead.
Okay.
I did, and so should you. And Doctor, if I wanted to kill anyone, I'd do it in the midnight hour, wouldn't I?
I figured you would.
And when was Dekker murdered?
Have you ever killed anyone?
No, I've never killed anyone. But then, even if I had, I'm not likely to tell you about it, am I, Doctor?
I'm sorry. The amount of times I get so frustrated when they don't get what I'm saying isn't exactly. Whee! Oh, whoops. Wow. Oh, he took the girl to Dr. Dekker's basement to the police station. Excellent. Bryce found Iris in Dr. Dekker's basement and freed her. Alright. However, we do know that Bryce and Claire do talk, and they have met before, because apparently she's paid him to smuggle a body out of the graveyard. And freed her. He says, took her. Bryce says he destroyed evil. Well, he's just a nice guy. But says that he didn't kill anyone. Cool. Police station.
In simple terms.
Okay. Cool. He says, what? He says he took the girl in Dr. Dekker's basement to the police station. Took the girl to the...
That means nothing to me. Yes, Vienna. I've nothing interesting to say about that.
Cool. You already asked that.
I removed the chains. No.
You dressed the girl.
Is that supposed to...
The girl. The basement. Naked, Bryce, or did you undress her? Was the girl naked?
I don't know what you'll get.
You dressed... No. You dressed the girl?
Don't know.
Cool. He's not going to answer me.
I've been feeling uneasy with Dr. Dekker for some time. I mentioned how he'd changed before. So I began spying on him at home. One night, the basement door was open.
This is what you missed.
Dekker was returning upstairs. I skipped past him, and there she was. A girl. It was difficult to tell. It was dark, and she was chained.
Okay. So, Toasty, welcome in. This is what happened. We finally got an answer to the girl situation. Alright. Let's go to Claire. So. Okay. So, I found out where this conversation started. I had to answer a question of, she wanted me to give her temporary insanity plea. I said no. I said yes. She's like, you don't think I'm still a killer? I said, yeah. What? Yeah. Yes. She asked if I thought she was still a killer, even though she killed David and then resurrected him. I said yes. I do think you are a killer, even if you brought David back. And then she said, won't you give me temporary insanity plea? I said, no, I will not help you. And she's like, okay, well, don't seal the deal yet. Or let's wait a couple of sessions. Or do you want something else like Dr. Dekker did? And I'm like, he wanted something else? And she's like, yeah, he mentioned the girl. I'm like, the girl? And she's like, yeah, he said he chained a girl up. So basically he was trying to get her to reanimate something for him. He said that he brought her dead mouse. It's like, reanimate this dead mouse because he didn't believe her or whatever, right? And she's like, no, I'm not going to reanimate a dead mouse. I'm not going to use it willy-nilly. Okay, cool. And he's like, well, what if I had a girl in my basement? I have a girl in my basement. Will you reanimate her? It's Iris. And she said, well, in order for me to reanimate something, you'd have to be dead. And he's like, well, that won't be a problem. But she said that she was sure it wasn't real. Like, she's like, I think he was just making it up, trying to get me to, like, say stuff or whatever. But then Bryce says that he spied on Dr. Dekker because he had changed the last few sessions. And he discovered a girl in Dr. Dekker's basement during his extra hour. So he freed her. Apparently, I guess she was naked. He dressed her, and then he took her to the police station, but there was no proof. However, Bryce and Claire do have a history, because apparently Bryce smuggled Claire's husband's body out of the funeral home. So they have talked and they do know each other. That's what you missed, my dude. Shit went down. Also, now that you're here, I have to go feed my cats real quick. Take 5. Give me a moment. Just catch up. Just ruminate on that. Give me a hot second. I've got to feed my cats. Just be real quick. Oh my god, made myself laugh imagining telling everyone I don't know back at the characters. What do you mean? I'm back. Also, I had to do so on the subject of like when we were previously when we were like, am I just running in between the rooms or like sending people out and bringing people back in? Literally had to go and talk to Claire and Bryce back and forth with each other. Like Claire said, "Hey, Bryce smuggled my husband out of my husband's body out of the funeral home for me." I went to Bryce and said, "Hey, Claire says he smuggled her husband out." And he said, "No, I didn't. He's in the ground." And so went back to Claire, says Bryce says he's in the ground. And then Claire's like, "Oh, he would say that, wouldn't he?" And I'm like, so I'm just like, all right, Claire, leave the room. Bryce, come in. Bryce, leave the room. So either that or some weird time stuff is happening. I don't know. Oh, like when they keep saying, I don't know when you ask the wrong thing. Yeah. I'd love to be like, I don't know either. Also, Bryce been started to say yes, Vienna. When I asked him what Vienna was like, he was just didn't give me real answers. I don't know why that suddenly started. Yeah, cat. I see you. Oh, get your food. Go, you go, old man. Okay. Oh, also, Bryce says that he noticed another. I love video game logic. yeah, it's great. Bryce also said that he asked if I had an extra hour as well, and I said no. And he was like, "Oh, great, this is not you, because there's this hooded figure that I saw who's also in my hour." You missed the notification I was doing boring human things. It's all good. I didn't tell you earlier today. I usually tell you. But yeah. So apparently there's somebody else in Bryce's extra hour. And he thought it might be Doctor Dekker raised from the dead because he said he's not evil. Like this whole conversation started because he was like, I'm not evil and I have proof. Because he's been undressing girls and taking pictures without their permission of them while they're naked. He's like, I have proof. I saved this girl that was in Dr. Dekker's basement. And I'm like, so you're really just a nice guy? Uh-huh. Sure. Okay. You follow the hooded figure. Where... No.
I don't know who it is. My initial thought was that it was you. That I told you about my affliction and somehow you'd got it too. Now I think maybe it's the military. Or some organization that wants to use the hour themselves. Maybe it's Dr. Dekker risen from the dead. I need to talk to you about him.
Which is in what we just talked about the girl. Military.
I'm surprised I haven't been approached earlier.
Oh my
God. My skills in the military. Special ops would be a breeze, wouldn't it? Waltz in past everyone during the midnight hour. Get whatever you want and return to friendly soil. It also makes me think that they might already know all of that. And that they want to get rid of me in case I tell anyone else. Would you do something for me if they get me?
What? What do you want me to do?
I don't...
You motherfucker. Motherfucker.
I'm surprised I haven't been approached earlier.
Yes, I think
My
Bryce.
skills in the military.
You creepy nice guy,
Special
Bryce.
ops would be a breeze, wouldn't it? waltz in past everyone during the midnight hour, get whatever you want, and return to friendly soil. It also makes me think that they might already know all of that, and that they want to get rid of me in case I tell anyone else. Would you do something for me if they get me?
What would you want me to do for you if they get you?
In simple terms,
Oh, is this a yes or no? I don't really remember Iris, but I do remember Creepy Girl Ghost. Creepy Girl Ghost. Iris is the guy that David, Claire's husband, was cheating on Claire with. He'd been having an affair with her for Iris. If they get you, I think it's just a yes or no question.
that means nothing to me.
Yes, Vienna. Yes, I will do something for you if they get you.
Would you tell Jessica? I love her.
Oy
She
vey.
didn't really know me that well, but I did love her. And also, there's a hard drive
Oh
in the
no!
drawer of my drinks cabinet. Please destroy it. Please, don't look at it.
A hard drive?
There's a hard drive with all the pictures I've ever taken on it.
Bryce,
The one
why?
in the bottom drawer of my drinks cabinet. Don't let Jessica see it. Jessica is a beautiful woman.
Oh my
I've not spied
god.
on her since the incident we talked about.
Where you undressed
I
her
have
and took a
real
picture of her.
feelings for her, Doctor. We've never connected.
Oh shit, I missed that part. You were there for that. You were there for the part where, because you literally just said my baby boy Bryce, and then he spews out that he's been undressing women taking pictures of them without their clothes on. He saved the girl from getting mugged, and then he gave her her purse back, and then he undressed her and took pictures of her, and then redressed her in his extra hour. And then he did something to Jessica, who's a single mother, who's his neighbor. You've never connected.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you. It's nice you think I'm capable of such basic interaction with females. But I'm still in awe of her, really. I will think about it, though.
That's not what I meant! God damn it.
Thank God for that.
Oh my gosh.
There's someone else in my hour. A hooded figure.
Okay.
Watching me and following me. I followed it too.
Okay. I guess I should say hooded figure. You followed the hooded figure. I guess I didn't say. I said followed. Oh, you followed it. Followed it too.
Don't know.
Well, first of all, Bryce, don't say females. It's been following you.
I don't know what you're... No,
You followed it.
I don't know.
I don't know what to tell you, sir. I said hidden figure, and you followed it. You. Where did it go?
Is that supposed to...
Meh. So you have two things. hooded figure and followed it too. I'm trying to figure out where you followed the hooded figure. Where did the hooded figure go? Did you follow it too?
Whatever it is that's following
There we go.
it doesn't want to catch me yet.
Oh.
If I move towards it, it runs away. And when I follow it past temptations. A bar brawl, an open till, an open bedroom window.
Oh.
Like it's testing me.
Temptations?
I've nothing in.
It's testing you.
I think that I'm becoming a good person, Doctor.
Do you?
I'm ashamed of some of the things I've done, but I'm getting better.
Just some.
The hooded figure. It's testing my morals. Judging me. For what? I don't know.
Bryce, please get rid of those pictures.
I've nothing in.
You got nothing to say about that?
Whatever it is that's following me,
Okay.
it doesn't want to catch me yet. If I move towards it, it runs away. And when I follow it past temptations.
Okay, baby.
A bar brawl, an open till, an open bedroom window. Like it's testing me.
Sorry, I got distracted by a cat running around my room. The fuck? What's up with you? Sorry, the old man cat decided he wanted to run like a little hooligan around the room. I don't know what's up with you. What's up with you? What's up with you? He got flus earlier today, like a couple hours ago too. So, okay. Oh, also, we brought the paper Spike to him, and he mentioned that Dr. Dekker was obsessed with showing it to him the last few sessions. Like trying to, and like, hey, put it through your hand, put it through your hand, put it through your hand. So if anybody would to think to use anything as a weapon, I guess they would definitely think of that.
I removed the chains, dressed her, and.
Police.
Is that supposed?
There wasn't any evidence?
I don't know what you're.
Evidence.
No.
Sweet.
I removed the chains, dressed her, and sat her in the police station. There's no evidence, though. No evidence of what he'd done. But she was free. I saved her. I'm not evil. I destroyed evil.
No evidence.
No, I didn't feel lustful, Doctor. I was angry. If I
What?
had taken pictures, there would at least been some evidence. A sicker man would have taken pictures and saved the day.
You literally did that to another girl who was mugged. Take any pictures of the girl? Okay, I guess he didn't take. So did Claire manipulate Bryce? Apparently, supposedly, I don't know. Like, apparently she paid him to smuggle out her husband's body at the funeral home. But whether she manipulated him or not, we don't know. And Bryce denies it. But they do know each other. So it's very possible the girl in the basement story is something that they could have, come up with together. Because Bryce obviously didn't like Dr. Dekker. Why he was still being seen by him, though, who knows?
I've been feeling uneasy.
Well, I mean, like, still manipulating him? I don't know. He's not really mentioned her. I said Claire, and he says nothing.
I don't know.
He says, I don't know.
Whatever it is that's following me,
Okay.
it doesn't
to catch you yet.
That means nothing to...
Yes, Vienna! Oi, 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 oi.
I don't know who it is. My initial thought was that it was you.
Okay, we get it's not me.
That I told you about my affliction, and somehow you'd got it too. Now I think maybe it's the military, or some organization that wants to use the hour themselves. Maybe it's Dr. Dekker risen from the dead. I need to talk to you about him. Don't know.
Talk to me about... Did I already say this? Hello.
I spied on Dr. Dekker, not long before he was murdered.
Okay.
I'm not sure I should tell you what I saw in his basement.
When shortly before he was murdered?
In simple terms,
I've got nothing to say. Yeah.
I didn't get much sleep. Try an easier question.
What else did you see Dr. Dekker do? Cool. I guess let's just try to continue this down this path.
Whatever it is that's following me,
Doesn't want to catch me.
it doesn't want to catch me yet. If I move towards it, it runs away. And when I follow it past temptations. A bar brawl, an open till, an open bedroom window.
A bar brawl, an open till. Bar brawl.
I split the brawl up.
An open till.
I did nothing. I'm not stealing anymore.
Window.
I looked in.
Of course you did.
Watching other people is somehow built into our genes, Doctor. There was an old woman in bed. I went inside.
Why?
Her bed covers were smoking. I think she'd fallen asleep holding a cigarette. I took the covers and put them in the bath. She'd have died otherwise. And no, I didn't take any pictures.
Good job. Oh, hey, we're done with him. Also, by the way, Toasty, we have this guy. I'm just gonna wait for you to recognize this gentleman. Look familiar in any way? Yeah. Alright. Alright, so nothing else to say about that. Alright, I'm gonna hint him so that way I can get more information on the girl in the basement. Hint. Oh, did he? I asked. Did you? Oh wait, is that the detective? No, it's not the detective. It is from the same game though. It's the guy in charge of the cult from the Contradictions game. Yeah. Yeah, from the other game. Spade.
One question, one answer.
What? Did you anything else?
That means nothing to me. That's hurting my head. Can you ask one bit at a time?
Hey, and you watch that? Yeah. Spied.
Don't know.
Doctor Dekker. You should stream it. No, that one's that one I don't think has multiple endings, and I already know the ending of who done did it to that one. So yeah, which I wish they would do like a follow up to it because it was like really open ended with like the cult stuff, but see my hint was. How is your job?
I put my hand through a rusty nail at work today. It hurt like hell and bled like I'd been shot.
Look fine.
I closed my eyes and thought, this isn't happening. The nail is just a worm and it will wriggle through me. When I looked back, can you guess what I saw?
A worm?
My hand had healed. The nail had become a worm and was wriggling in my palm. It was like a little miracle.
Ooh.
Like magic. I shouldn't really say miracle or magic. They're words that Dr. Dekker used when he tried to get you to think things and make them real.
But why are you doing?
Do you think it's real, Doctor? That magic is real?
I'm not going to answer that question, but I appreciate it. That's not what I'm here for. What I'm here for is you tell me about what you saw Dr. Dekker doing. What else did you find spying?
No.
What else did Dr. Dekker do? On Dr. Dekker.
I didn't need an extra hour to realize Dr.
There we
Dekker
go.
was strange.
What else did okay.
I put my hand.
Rusty nail.
When I looked back at my hand, it was healed. Look, see?
Okay.
Is that supposed to mean?
Yeah, the bald-headed figure.
I don't know who it is. My initial thought was that it was you.
Why did you think he... Do you see someone behind me today?
I've nothing interesting to...
Cool. Is...
I don't know what you're getting at.
F you. Scarlet.
I don't know. I'd been feeling uneasy with Dr. Dekker for some time. I mentioned how he'd changed before, so I began spying on him at home. One night, the basement door was open, and...
What else did you see Dr. Dekker do at home? Dr. Ugh. I really just want the answer to the questions about Dr. Dekker.
I spied on Dr. Dekker, not long before he was murdered. I'm not sure I should tell you what I saw in his basement.
How long before he was murdered?
In simple terms,
Got nothing to say. Alright. I guess we'll come back to him. Let's go ahead and talk to Jay. You want to go ahead and... You know what? Let's actually just talk to Professor Warwick. Hello. Oh, he said hello.
Is he really? Actually dead? Not a worthy adversary after all, then? Dr. Dekker challenged me. He tried to use my theories against me. Quantum theories.
Cool.
Do you really want to know? Dekker's eyes used to glaze over whenever we talked about that.
And how did he challenge you?
He didn't believe in quantum physics. As if it's something that you can optionally believe in. Well, it started with an experiment.
Water?
No,
Experiment.
Have you heard of quantum suicide, Doctor?
No. I have not heard of that.
Maybe if you asked me that in a parallel universe, I actually...
No. I have not heard of quantum... What was quantum? I'm sure something not to do with the actual word.
Quantum suicide is a thought experiment that tries to explain the many worlds theory. You're looking at me blankly. I can see that you don't understand. I knew you wouldn't. Alternate universes. Essentially, if I were to shoot myself, then in some alternate universe, I'd still be alive.
Yes, I know. I understand.
Now imagine if I could actually choose that universe. I'm taking a product off a supermarket shelf. Well, I simply applied that logic to something different.
Applied that logic to something different?
Gambling. I set up an experiment whereby I would visit a casino and place a very large bet at a roulette table. Now, I would always bet on odd. Now, the results of this particular experiment were mundane. I won as many times as you would expect according to the laws of probability. But then, I changed a parameter.
What?
Quantum suicide required
Uh-huh.
a loss of life to make it a realistic thought experiment. So I simply upped the stakes. Now, every time I bet on odd, I would place everything I had on that one spin of the wheel, and it worked. Well, for a while.
That's just gambling, my dude. It worked for a while.
Dr. Dekker killed it, and I can't get it back.
Fuck me sideways. In game, Dr. Dekker killed it in a game. I almost typed in game.
I don't really know what you're getting at.
He killed. Get it back.
Well, my theory, quantum gambling.
Quantum
if the stakes
gambling.
are high enough, you will win every time by simply shifting your consciousness into that branch that wins. It's tricky, but it can be done. Dr. Dekker didn't like that. He saw me becoming rich and powerful, and he hated that. That's why he proffered the hangman's paradox.
It sounds like he was interested in what you were saying, because...
Well, imagine a judge sentences you to death.
Uh-huh.
Now, it will be Monday or Tuesday next week, but it will be a surprise. Well, which day do you think you'll be executed?
Tuesday.
Well, it can't be Tuesday, because if you're still alive on Monday at midnight, then you know you'll be executed on Tuesday, so it won't be a surprise. Conversely, it can't be Monday either, because, well, you'll be expecting it to be Monday by deduction. Hence, a paradox. Dr. Dekker tricked me. He told me that sometime in the future I would lose a bet, that I would lose all of my money.
Yeah, that's
Now,
how
this
gambling
didn't seem
works.
likely because I had quantum gambling on my side and it was working. But he unnerved me. He made me doubt myself. And then it happened. Recently, I lost everything that I'd managed to build up since Vanessa left me.
I'd not see.
He told me that
Oh, that was
sometime in the
spelled.
future I would lose a bet, that I would lose all of my money. Now, this didn't seem likely because I had quantum gambling on my side and it was working. But he unnerved me. He made me doubt myself. And then it happened. Recently, I lost everything that I'd managed to build up since Vanessa left me.
Vanessa.
We were married for 14 years, 7 months, and 3 days.
Okay.
Vanessa couldn't have children. At least that's what she told me. She grounded me in reality. I'm not complaining. It's probably what I needed.
Okay.
But part of me always thought that one day I'd achieve immortality through science and we'd be... It wasn't to be, though. Nope. I think you're gonna...
F me. She grounded you?
Perhaps ask me,
Okay, here's something physics related. Go fuck yourself. What?
Do you know, you remind me of Dr. Dekker. He always used to ask me questions I didn't know the answer to.
I'm so glad. How meta. Some gambling.
Why not gambling? My wife Vanessa left me for a neurosurgeon.
Oh.
Do you know, she emptied our entire combined wealth into her barrister's wallet. I needed more money. Physics provided me with a solution.
That's not physics.
Well, my theory, quantum gambling. If the stakes are high enough, you will win every time by simply shifting your consciousness into that branch that wins. It's tricky, but it can be done. Dr. Dekker didn't like that. He saw me becoming rich.
You shift your words. Consciousness, to a reality where Vanessa didn't leave you. Rich and powerful. What do you want?
Honestly? Well, I think he feared quantum
I
physics.
don't think he did.
He didn't like things being explained in terms of science. Almost as if he'd have preferred chaos.
The thing about chaos. Is that coin?
I don't know.
What is that? What is in your hand?
Are you sure that question's for me?
Yes. Chaos.
Perhaps ask me. We were married for 14 years, 7 months, and 3 days. Vanessa couldn't have children.
Children!
Well, yes, it bothered me. Especially now that I find out that she's pregnant. Oh, no, it wasn't a rocket scientist that was required, but a brain surgeon, it seems. I have considered putting that neurosurgeon onto his darkest timeline. But I'm not a killer, it would seem.
Well. Apparently we're done with everything, but where were you on Valentine's Day? We still talking? We're still talking.
I was at a fundraiser for a charity
Mind
called Mind
Street
Stretch
Outreach.
Don't know how I got roped into that. I can't remember. But it was full of very clever children with bizarre outlooks on life. And Jaya. It was Jaya who asked me to go.
Interesting. Okay, so we asked about Jaya.
Oh, she's Dr. Dekker's lovely assistant. I imagine she's your lovely assistant now.
Is she an assistant?
Yeah, she always smiles and makes me a cup of tea before a session. Smile. Which reminds me, my session. Can we talk about my problem now? It's full of poor kids with very capable minds. I did give them a talk on quantum tunneling once, and they loved it.
Tunneling?
Not sure it'll put dinner on the table for any of them, though. I'm...
Tunneling?
Oh, you're gonna have to Google...
Oh.
Oh, you're gonna have
Oh,
to Google that, Doctor, I'm afraid. I'm not a walking...
It was an actual answer.
I'd love to tell you, but, I am paying you by the hour. Maybe look up Schrodinger's cat whilst you're there.
F you! I wear Schrodinger's cat!
Oh, she's Dr. Dekker's lovely assistant. I imagine she's your lovely assistant now.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, she always smiles and makes me a cup of tea before a session. Smile. Which reminds me, my session. Can we talk about...
My problem.
My problem now.
I did say your problem. Did I not spell it right? Your problem.
Nope.
Problem.
Maybe if you ask... I'm not a gambler, Doctor. I'm a scientist.
My problem.
Need more money. It's true I've run out of money for my research. An opportunity has arisen.
Okay.
A very wealthy group of individuals have offered to pay me a very large sum of money if I attend their next private soiree. They don't want to talk or anything like that. They want a practical demonstration. They'll pay me £1 million if I can successfully survive 6 rounds of
No.
Now, I am worried because of what Dr. Dekker said, but, well, I can't help but thinking that the stakes are so high I can't possibly lose. What do you think, Doctor? Should I take them up on their offer?
No! You should not!
I don't know.
No! You should not take them up on their offer.
No, I suppose you're right. In a darker timeline, you probably said yes, and I'm dead now. I earn good money where I work. How do I stop losing it?
Stop gambling!
I take your point. But I suppose to decide whether to continue gambling or to stop gambling is a
Oh my
gamble
God.
within itself, isn't it? Well, my time is up. Will we be having another session or... No, don't answer that. It'll turn you into a gambler like me. Infectious. Isn't it?
Oh! Bye, Felicia! Oh, he's just gone. He's just straight up gone. I can't talk to him anymore. He just walked away. Alright, Jaya, let's talk. Let's talk about Ben.
I think that's all settled now. We are agreeing to pay Ben £5,000 and he's agreeing not to say anything about what he saw.
What he saw. Cool.
He thought he saw a creature coming out of Dr. Dekker's mouth. But at least that's the reason he's given for not emptying the bins that night. Either way, it's not the kind of publicity that we need. Shiny, happy, sane people.
The man was murdered! A man was murdered!
I don't know.
You don't know? How is your day?
You're overthinking things.
Hello.
I'm fine. I'm ready for my grief counselling. I emailed you Mariana's address. I don't know why you'd want it. I suppose you're going to start doing home visits now, like Dr. Dekker? Doctor, if you don't want it, don't text me and ask for it. It's all right. I don't mind doing menial tasks for you. Someone has to do them.
I didn't ask for her address.
Well, maybe someone sneaked your phone during a session and texted. I know they all look innocent, but if it's not nailed down, there's a good chance they'll walk away with it. You know, I used to have an iPad and a Surface.
Mariana. Jaya says that I... What the heck? Cool. So I guess I need to ask everybody about Mariana.
I'm fine. I'm ready.
Grief. Grief.
I don't.
What are words?
Grief is such a strange word if you keep saying it. Grief, grief, grief. It sounds like somebody's being whipped. And you're going to ask me how I feel today?
I tried that. How do you feel? I asked how you were doing.
Nope.
How do you feel today? What?
Grief is such a strange word if you keep saying it. Grief, grief, grief. It sounds like somebody's being whipped. And you're going to ask me how I feel today? Oops, that was a strange thing to say, wasn't it? Whipped. Am I all whips and chains in the bedroom or dominant in the boardroom? Don't answer that, it's not a question. It's early days for a harassment suit yet, what with Ben's nervous shock already.
Then why would you say that?
I'm fine. I'm ready for my grief counselling.
Oh, sure.
I emailed you Mariana's address. I don't know why you'd want it.
Okay,
I
cool.
suppose you're going to start doing home visits now, like Dr. Dekker?
Home visits. I did shit. Alright, so I did say I'd go clear to the lake house to see if David was real. Damn. That's put me in a predicament, I think. Home visits.
Yes, Dr. Dekker started doing home visits for Mariana. He said she couldn't concentrate properly in his office. I hope you're not thinking of doing the same thing. I need you right where I can see you.
No, I do not want to do home visits. Right.
Checks and balances, Doctor.
You are correct.
Somebody needs to be watching the watchman. so
You're
to speak.
correct.
Make sure you're helping, not hindering.
Yeah, Hindering.
He probably did his fair share of helping and hindering. He was definitely helping in the beginning, but then seemed to lose sight of things.
Lose sight of things.
I think he was so overwhelmed by the patients he was getting. His curiosity just got the better of him. There was a definite turning point.
Turning point? Was the turning point Professor Alderby?
Somewhere around the time Professor Alderby seemed to unsettle him. And then we had a flood of extra weird patients. I think it was all too much for him. I think I misjudged him. I hope you deal with it better.
Extra weird?
No.
A flood of...
That's a strange question.
What's your little thing that you told me? I should ask Mariana about Dr. Dekker's home visits. Okay. My neighbor something is like kids. Are they fighting? Having fun? Who knows? Oh no. That's always a great question. When like a kid start laughing, sometimes it smells like their smells. Sometimes it smells. When kids are laughing, sometimes it sounds like they're crying. So yeah, I keep meaning to cry. Damn kids get in the middle of my stream. It's all good. It's all good, my dude. Alrighty. So apparently, I don't know if you're gonna hear this. Apparently, Dr. Dekker's doing home visits to Mariana, and also apparently, we asked for Mariana's email or address.
Somewhere around the time Professor Alderby turned up, that seemed to unsettle him. And then we had a flood of extra weird patients. I think it was all too much for him. I think I misjudged him. I hope you deal with it better. There's just a lot of crazy flying around, Doctor. Don't catch any of it. Yes, Dr. Dekker started doing home visits for Mariana. He said she couldn't concentrate properly in his office. I hope you're not thinking of doing the same thing. I need you right where I can see you.
No, I'm not thinking of home visits.
I don't know everything.
No. Home visits. Wow. My spelling today. Same thing.
You're overthinking things. You don't need to ask me that.
Okay. Hope I fare better.
That's a strange...
It's a strange question.
Dr. Dekker started doing home visits for Mariana. He said she couldn't concentrate properly in his office.
I think
hope
they're
you're
watching
not
sports.
Thinking of doing the same thing. I need you right where I can see you.
Apparently we still need to talk. I guess I need to ask about the paper spike.
It's in that police report that I gave to you. You should really take a look at it.
What was the other questions I asked everybody? Bryce. Oh, can I ask about Scarlet? Scarlet.
No, that's not it. I don't know everything. Nope. Ask me.
Cool. Hint it up, boys. I should ask about Dr. Dekker? Sure. Dr. Dekker.
I honestly think that you're curing me with all this grief counselling. You know, we don't really have to talk about Dr. Dekker from now on if you don't want to. We had a connection, but it's gone now. Have you been taking notes in our session, Doctor? Perhaps you should check them?
Okay. You had a connection?
Dr. Dekker asked me to have dinner with him for Valentine's. I refused, obviously, because you don't sleep where you eat or something like that. But it was flattering, especially with competition like Mariana around.
Dinner.
I didn't go out for Valentine's. I was at home. Wait. Actually, I did come up to the office at about 9. I'd forgotten a USB stick that had some files I was working on.
Sorry, I'm just very silent. I assume 9 p.m. because she was here that day, right? No, was she out that day? Some files. Wait a second. He asked you for dinner, but tried to fire you?
I don't know anything about...
Toasty! I regret to inform you that your services are no longer needed. Please clear out your desk and leave by the end of this week. On the 13th.
I don't know. That's not something I know about.
When did he ask you to dinner?
Have you been taking notes in our session, Doctor?
You need to answer me, woman!
Check them.
I hear I am queer. Maybe you have to ask it differently. When did he ask you to dinner?
I don't know everything.
Declined dinner?
No.
Fuck.
I didn't go out for Valentine's. I was at home. Wait. Actually, I did come up to the office at about...
Okay, hold on.
Dr. Dekker asked me to have dinner with him for Valentine's. I refused, obviously.
You refused.
I don't know. Dr. Dekker asked me to have dinner with him for Valentine's. I refused, obviously, because you don't sleep where you eat or something like that. But it was flattering, especially with competition like Mariana around.
Competition, okay? Competition?
Sorry, I didn't mean I was competing. I was happy Mariana was going out with him. I didn't want to be romantic with him. We had a stronger connection than that.
Stronger connection?
Dr. Dekker and I shared some philosophy. We'd both read The Cult of the Kinetic Mind, and we agreed with a lot of what it said. Have you read that book, Doctor?
No, I have not read that book.
In Cult of the Kinetic Mind, the author suggests that everyone is capable of psychokinesis, and that the cult leaders specifically had these powers that turned their followers into disciples. It's not a fun read, but if you're into psychology, it's a blast.
What is psychokinesis?
Psychokinesis is the ability to change the physical world without actually touching it, just by using your mind. It's not just about bending spoons. It covers all sorts of things like telepathy, telekinesis, telesabalas. Shoot me, I'm a Kojak fan. In Cult of the Kinetic Mind, the author suggests no, not at all in my experience. Dr. Dekker had an unusual number of patients who claimed
Like bending forks.
psychokinesis. Either he'd been specifically looking for them or someone had been sending them.
Someone had been sending them. I think you already know who's been sending them. Okay. We're about to get spoiler-y here in a moment. There's a reason that Professor Alderby's brought up. So, who my clues aren't there? Oh, the Alderby footage is here.
Nothing, of course. The faculty thinks I've gone loopy, like
Let's
some
gonna
kind
watch
of
this.
spongy Mobius strip. That's why I'm here, isn't it, Dr. Dekker? Him, God, the great...
It's entirely possible that someone is targeting this practice with psychokinetic patients. To what end, I don't know. It's no coincidence that most psychokinetic patients are diagnosed as insane, or at least temporarily insane. It's a handy diagnosis if you're facing criminal prosecution, especially if it's for murder.
And that's what it's all about, folks. So, in the ending, spoiler alert, if you're watching Jesse and Dodger's playthrough of The Infectious Mind of Dr. Dekker, here's a spoiler for it. Because the ending they got, I'm not going to tell you who they got as the murderer. However, they got a clip where Professor Aldry was talking to somebody. And he was telling them to go and pick a thing, like psychokinesis thing, like you brought your loved one back from the dead, or you have an extra hour every night, or you're experiencing a loop day, and stick with it to get a temporary insane diagnosis to get away with it. Which is why I've definitely let it influence me. And I've definitely been like, no, I'm not going to give you a temporary insanity diagnosis. Or no, I don't believe you. Or I'm going in with like a healthy dose of this. None of this is real. Okay. Will I get the same ending? Who knows?
Nope.
Fire.
That's not something.
Termination.
That's a strange. I don't know. You're overthinking things. You don't need to ask me that.
I thought you said you'd help baby boy Bryce. I said I would tell him if he went missing or the military took him, that I would tell Jessica that he loved her. Is what I said. I didn't say you're temporarily insane. But also, and maybe I'll get a different ending. Maybe I won't get an ending where they're like, it's all a hoax.
No, not at all in my experience. Dr. Dekker had an unusual number of patients who claimed psychokinesis. Either he'd been specifically looking for them or someone had been sending them.
Who refers the patients?
That's not something. No. That's a strange.
Have all the patients committed a crime?
Nope.
Why are all these patients here?
You're overthinking.
Am I overthinking things? Cool.
Psychokinesis is the ability to change the physical world without actually touching it, just by using your mind. It's not just about bending spoons. It covers all sorts of things like telepathy, telekinesis. Like I said, all those cool things are in Cult of the Kinetic Mind, apart from Kojak, obviously. If you ever get a patient who thinks they can change the world with just their mind, then duck. Just in case they can. But seriously, do a whole load of shrinking and make them better.
I'm trying,
Whether
honey.
you believe in psychokinesis or not, you'll need to figure out your approach with those that do. How do you make people who think they have special powers better?
That's a great question.
Do you remain passive and support, encourage them, take them away?
Okay, I guess we're supposedly done talking to her, but... away.
That's what I'd try to do. No, not at all.
In your...
I don't...
Excuse me.
I don't know everything. I know... In Cult of the Kinetic Mind, the author suggests that everyone is capable of psychokinesis and that the cult leaders specifically had these powers that turned their followers into disciples. It's not a fun read, but if you're into psychology, it's a blast. Followers and disciples have a very strong tie to their cult leaders, almost like they've been brainwashed.
They have.
The author suggests that this is because they've witnessed some kind of psychokinesis, like pyrokinesis or telekinesis.
Does that book actually exist? Cult of the Kinetic Mind? No. It's just to do with this game.
In Cult of the Kinetic Mind, the author
There may be a
suggests
I.
that everyone is capable of
I
psychokinesis,
should read a
and
book
that
with
the
that.
cult leaders
Unfortunately,
specifically
probably.
had these powers that turned their followers into disciples. It's not a fun read, but if you're into psychology, it's a blast. Yes, psychology. I think you'll find it's relevant, Doctor.
I'm well aware. Okay. Taking off the.
No, not at all in my experience. Dr. Dekker had an unusual number of patients who claimed psychokinesis. Either he'd been specifically looking for them or someone had been sending them.
Do you think Dr. Dekker believed all the patients?
I don't know anything.
Someone is sending them.
Yes, Dr. Dekker started doing home visits for Mariana. He said she couldn't concentrate properly in his office. I hope you're not thinking of doing the same thing. I need you right where I can see you.
No. Mariana?
Have you been taking notes in our... Have you been taking...
Hint it up, boys! Oh! That's right, the USB... What? Did you need the USB stick for? I completely forgot all about that.
I was cross-referencing the patient files for Dr. Dekker, and I copied everything onto a USB drive.
You were allowed to take that
I was
out?
terrified it had all gone missing. Can you imagine the trouble we'd get into if the patient files suddenly turned up on the internet?
Which is why you're not supposed to be...
He wanted me to look up birth mothers and other family tree information.
What?
It's like he was seeing if all of his patients were descendants of the same line. Well, spoiler alert, they weren't.
Birth mothers?
Dr. Dekker did send me to see his mother once. She was dying in a nursing home and he didn't want to see her.
Whoa, what?
I remember him calling her a manipulative, evil old hag. You tend not to ask any more questions after that.
What? Not her saving info before being fired, right? I mean, she wasn't going to be fired because, according to her, like, she's the one who hired him. So she probably had more actual power in him than he thought she did. According to her, of course. But Dr. Dekker asked her to... My biggest issue is that I want to ask her about when she was asked for dinner on Valentine's Day, because he wanted to take her to dinner on Valentine's Day, but he was trying to fire her the day beforehand. Like, what the fuck? How he's gonna fire her when she hired him? That's exactly right. Right, exactly. Like, she said he headhunted, so he may have not known that she's the reason he got hired. But also, who hired him then? Like, who did he talk to? Because he apparently did talk to Professor Alderby, even though Professor Alderby was on trust, because Professor Alderby, he didn't know who Professor Alderby was. Blah, 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 blah. The patient's birth mothers? Also...
You're overthinking. That's a strange...
Yeah.
I was cross-referencing the patient files for Dr. Dekker, and I copied everything onto a USB drive. I was terrified it had all gone missing. Can you imagine the trouble we...
Why did you think the...
I don't know everything. I know...
Did you talk to Dr. Dekker at 9?
Nope.
Cool. Just gonna hint it up. What did Dr. Dekker and Mariana do on their date? I don't know.
I have no idea what they did and when they did it. I'm happy to keep it that way too.
I don't care about Dr. Dekker and Mariana. I know apparently that, like, supposedly I'm...
Yes,
This is
Dr. Dekker
manipulating us
started doing
somehow.
home visits for Mariana. He said she couldn't concentrate properly in his office. I hope you're not thinking of doing the same thing. I need you right where I can see you.
No.
I don't know. No, that's not...
Doing the same thing?
I don't know.
Email.
No, not at all in my experience. Dr. Dekker had an unusual number of patients who claimed psychokinesis. Either he'd been specifically looking for them or some...
Do you talk to Nathan much?
I was a bit of a shoulder to cry on for Nathan. He told me a lot of things about Dr. Dekker that I probably shouldn't have heard, and I'm not about to repeat to you either.
I wish you
Why?
would.
What did he say about me? No,
What?
not at all in my experience.
I feel like you're... I don't know.
Okay. We're gonna go Nathan.
I burned the photos of Hannah.
God damn it, I forgot
It
about
didn't
that.
work. I suppose because the loss was superficial.
Nathan.
The next thing I burned was the rocking chair. That worked. I've been getting rid of her stuff ever since. There was a day when I attacked a Salvation Army bin, but I gave in.
Attacked?
I accidentally put Hannah's diary into a Salvation Army donation bin. They're like huge post boxes with a circular tray that makes sure things spill to the bottom. I tried to get in to get it back, but I gave up. I didn't notice Dr. Dekker had a paper spike. I haven't really seen more than a foot in front of me since Hannah died.
Sorry, I guess I need my...
Jer was a great listener. Much better than Dr. Dekker. I think she would have made a great psychiatrist. Do you know, he tried to fire her.
I'm starting... Be right back. I'm starting to suspect that Nathan may have done it. He tried to fire her?
Yeah, he fired her. Jer told me about it. You should ask her.
I will! Fired?
That's not something I...
What is it? Nathan says Jay was fired, but I knew that she did. Were you fired?
Nope.
You were fired?
Have you been taking notes?
Nathan says Dr. Dekker fired you.
I accidentally put Hannah's diary in. I read the last few weeks of Hannah's diary a while ago. I must have accidentally dropped in some clothes for the Salvation Army bin. It's funny, because I wasn't going to read it. She said she'd fallen out of love with me. That she was going to break off the engagement. That she didn't love me anymore. I regretted it. I regretted that I mourned for Hannah so long. I regret the grief. I regret all the days I slept through because of it. Had I known she didn't love me anymore, things would have been different. I'm a bit angry now. If I had that day over again, I may just still pull out in front of the driver.
Why aren't you waving?
No, I don't know.
Cool.
I read the last.
She was...
I'm not trying to hide anything.
She had...
Can we maybe not talk about Hannah anymore? And thanks for the dating advice, by the way.
Oh! Dating advice?
I signed up for a dating website. It's a bit easy to.
That's right. I
If
told
I
you.
message something they don't like, I change it when the day replays. It's not very honest.
It's not. No. It's not very honest.
If I'm being honest, I'd probably rather ask out one of the patients I've seen here. The friendly redhead with the accent.
Toasty? Toasty, is this a love triangle? Ugh. Jaya, think.
I read the last few weeks of Hannah's diary a while ago. I must have accidentally dropped in some clothes for the Salvation Army bin. It's funny, because I wasn't going to read it. She said she'd fallen out of love with me. That she was going to break off the engagement. That she didn't love me anymore. I regretted it.
You going to read it?
No. That doesn't mean... You've asked me that already. No. Wait, maybe that was yesterday. I don't know, anyway.
What? Hey, so that time frame includes the body was found at 10:20. So the 9 o'clock she was here, she could have been the murderer.
I didn't see anyone else. I didn't hang around. It's just a USB stick. I got in, I got the data, I got out. I'm basically special ops.
Why would she say that?
That's not really relevant.
Back? Hey, so, my dude, I looked at the crime scene report. I asked Jaya if it was in the morning or at night.
I didn't see anyone else. I didn't hang around. It's just a USB stick. I got in, I got the data, I got out. I'm basically special ops.
So, okay, not that. Crime scene report. That 9 o'clock time frame it's within the estimated time of his death. If it was at night, which it sounds like it was. Also, let me pull it up. Nathan.
Jer was a great listener. Much better than Dr. Dekker. I think she would have made a great psychiatrist. Do you know, he tried to fire her. Yeah, he fired her. Jer told me about it. You should ask her.
I tried asking her, but it wouldn't let me, and she already told me about it. But it did say on my notes thing, it automatically popped up. Nathan says Jaya was fired. You were... And I tried to be like, you were fired?
That's a strange question.
Dr. Dekker tried to fire you. Nathan says you were fired.
I was a bit of a shoulder to cry on for Nathan. He told me a lot of things about Dr. Dekker that I probably shouldn't have heard, and I'm not about to repeat to you either. Why? What did he say about me?
He says you were fired.
I don't know anything about that.
I guess when did they talk? Because okay, so the only two patients that he had that day, that Dr. Dekker had that day, where was it? All right. He would offer daylight amidst stabbing him some kind. Believes the patient did it. Oh, by the way, also I forgot to mention, Jaya says that Ben saw a creature climbing out of Dr. Dekker's mouth. Forgot that too. All the patients were referred to by somebody. Some of them were private. He tried to prevent it the day before he was murdered. She says it wasn't going to stick. They trust wouldn't have allowed it. Apparently, I also texted and asked JF for Mariana's address. Well, she says, "What did he say about me?" But then there's no thing to say anything about it. Were you fired?
No, that's not it.
Nathan says you were fired. But also I was talking to Nathan and he said,
if I'm being honest, I'd probably rather ask out one of the patients I've seen here. The friendly redhead with the accent.
And when I was talking to Jaya, she said that, of course, Dr. Dekker had asked her out, and it was very flattering, but you don't sleep where you eat or something like that. But it's flattering considering that she has competition like Mariana. Did Nathan say anything like, "Oh, she's so cool"? He said that she was a great listener. Nathan, you are a great listener. No, apparently he said
I don't know.
no. Who's trolling at me? Cat? Hello? What? What, baby? Just get me out of the room. Hold on, let me let the cat out of the room. Give me a second. Apparently she doesn't actually want to know what Nathan said about her. But anyway, so I'm kind of like... Oh, also Nathan found out that Hannah, his dead fiance, was going to break off the engagement, that she had fallen out of love with him, and so he said he regretted it. And I'm like, what'd you regret?
I regretted that I mourned for Hannah so long. I regret the grief. I regret all the days I slept through because of it. Had I known she didn't love me anymore, things would have been different. I'm a bit angry now. If I had that day over again, I may just still pull out in front of the driver.
Yeah. And when I say Hannah, I get she'd fallen out of love with you. So that's diary.
I read the last few weeks of Hannah's diary a while ago. I must have accidentally dropped in some clothes for the Salvation Army bin. It's funny, because I wasn't going to read it. She said she'd fallen out of love with me. That she was going to break off the engagement. That she didn't love me anymore. I regretted it.
Why did you read it?
I've got nothing to tell you.
Cool. Hint. Is there anything he wants to tell me about? I don't know. Let's just say Dr. Dekker.
I've told you all I know about Dr. Dekker. He started out good, then turned a bit crazy towards the end.
Cool.
When you start giving people more problems as a therapist, that's a bit crazy.
More problems.
I started out with depression. Now I seem to repeat days. Even if you don't believe the repeat days, then I clearly have extra mental health problems.
That's true. And he's also giving you a mystery pill?
Sorry, drawing a...
Did he give you a pill?
I don't know anything about that.
I'm gonna throw punch this man. I'm gonna go for like another 10 minutes, and then I got some stuff to do before stuff goes down here. Well, am I not gonna finish this day? I guess not. Okay. I think this has got 2 things on it.
I've told you all I know about
Tell
Dr.
me
Dekker.
more,
He
tell
started
me
out
more.
good, then turned a bit
Crazy. Crazy.
I think that he possibly cursed other people, a bit like he cursed me. Sometimes you could see he was bursting to tell me about it, but he couldn't. He was ecstatic with power.
Cursed.
Ah, the curse. Or remembered. I was hoping you'd forget. It's going to sound crazy. Dr. Dekker said I would never be able to move forward until I came to terms with my grief. And so from this point on, I start to relive the same day over and over again until I made something of it. I believed him.
So that doesn't sound like that big of a thing, because he literally said you'd never be able to move forward unless you come to terms with your grief. That sounds fairly normal, actually. Because I believe you're not moving forward unless you come to terms with your grief.
Like I said, it takes something like a tragic event to move my day forward. I do more and more bizarre things to try and get things moving. It's a curse, like I said.
Do you still grieve Hannah?
Ah, the curse. Or remembered. I was hoping you'd forget. It's going to sound crazy. Dr. Dekker said I would never be able to move forward until I came to terms with my grief. And so from this point on, I start to relive the same day over and over again until I made something of it. I believed him. I didn't want to believe him. I remember I said, you can't just say things and they happen. He laughed and laughed. I think he was going mad. He said he'd give me a demonstration. He held his hand outstretched and told me to look at the flame. There was no flame, and then there was. He was holding a flame in his hand that had come out of nowhere.
All the special effects. It's
And
cute.
he tried to hypnotize me to make me forget it.
Hypnotize you?
I didn't forget seeing the flame. He wanted me to forget it all, but I didn't. For whatever reason, he couldn't undo what he'd done. I was scared. I pretended like the hypnosis had worked.
We're scared.
I was scared what Dr. Dekker would do to me if he found out I still knew. So I had to play along. Keep coming to the sessions. Pretend I hadn't seen what he'd done. It was awful, because I was suffering through the same days over and over again. But I couldn't talk to him about it, because he'd know. held his hand.
Why a flame?
He held his hand outstretched and told me to look at the flame. There was no flame, and then there was. He was holding a flame in his hand that had come out of nowhere. And he tried to hypnotize me to make me forget it.
You like that? There was no flame that time. Get it?
He'd become bored of me, so I got much of my insight from calls or messages he'd take during our sessions. I think because he hypnotized me, he didn't want to play with me anymore, so I got basic therapist. I've got nothing to do. He told me lots of people get depression.
They do.
Become more active, see more people.
You should.
And although he wouldn't always be there to listen, Jaya would be.
I think he did it. I think he did it. Jay would be. Hit me, boys. What bizarre things has he tried? What bizarre things have? Which, by the way, he has an alibi. But supposedly he's
I
around.
intentionally cut myself.
Whoa!
Publicly humiliate
In
myself.
game.
I steal things. I hurt people around me. Just enough to get another day to start. I ran out of people around me pretty quickly.
Yeah, no, duh. Have you gone to the park?
I don't know anything.
Talked to anyone at work?
That doesn't mean anything.
The redhead.
You've asked me that already. No.
No, I did not.
I read the last few weeks of Hannah's diary a while ago. I'm not trying to...
Not available for another 24 seconds. No! We're going to talk to somebody else, I guess. Okay, so yeah, he saw Claire and Elin. He saw Claire at what time? So she saw, okay, 11 a.m. So 11 a.m. and then 3 p.m. he had the appointments. She had an offer that she couldn't refuse, taking it to her grave. That he made her an offer she couldn't refuse. That night, watching David and talked a lot, thinks he had a date. Okay, let's go with Elin. Where is your necklace?
Is that really what you want to talk about?
Yeah.
Ask me something else.
Hello.
I'm fine. Work's fine. Hilda's fading fast. Terry's Terry. Oh, you'd be pleased to know I don't have the locket anymore.
I see that.
I gave it back. All of it. Every single keepsake.
Oh, that's lovely.
I don't know. Sorry. You told me to. Well, not in so many words, but you said I shouldn't have kept them.
Mm-hmm.
And what with Terry going around telling everyone I stole them, I didn't feel like I really had any choice. The locket.
Good job,
the
Elin.
watch,
Yep.
The ring.
Yeah, good job.
But I kept the little bird Sarah Dekker gave me.
Whoa!
I wasn't supposed to mention her.
Are they all in on it?
Doctor Dekker's mother. She was one of my first patients, but she died a while ago.
Jaya visited her.
That doesn't really matter.
Can you be a bad influence and make them crazier? I think so. I think you can. Or at least, like, because, like, I had a thing on the front that said, your patients seem to like you. So they could, I guess, not like you.
I've been a nurse for ages, but I've only worked at the nursing home for the last year.
The last year?
I tend to move around quite a bit. I get quite fidgety if I stay in the same place too long.
Or a lot of people die. Wait. How... Oh, no. Go back. How long... No. Bryce says... What if... Nathan was a female student all Valentine's night talking about his dead girlfriend. Dr. Dekker for 9 months. She has been at the current for a year.
I don't know anything about Dr. Dekker's mother. She was one of my first patients, but she died a while ago.
Shit!
I can't remember exactly. I'd only just started seeing Dr. Dekker.
And his mother was a patient at your nursing home? Gave you a bird?
It was just a little china bird, sort of a yellowy blue pattern on it. I don't think it's worth anything.
Did Dr. Dekker know that she gave you the bird? Did Doctor Dekker know?
No.
No.
Sorry, I wish I...
Toasty, I'm shooketh. I'm shooketh. I'm...
I'm fine. What?
Terry.
Terry seems to have backed down since I gave the key
Okay.
back.
Okay.
Actually, it doesn't seem like she's been very well.
Have you given her any
Not
food?
her usual self. Maybe she's got a bug or something.
Oh, her usual self.
I feel like
Hilda.
Hilda's nearing the end. She's been sleeping a lot, not eating much. She hasn't been that argumentative either. Although, she did give me a vicious scratch yesterday. It was nothing. I was just trying to give her meds. It's hard, you know? I'm trying to help her, but she keeps fighting me. It'll be better after she's seen her daughter. I've decided I'm going to do it tonight. She hasn't got much time left.
Sure. Yeah, sugar. This is the one, by the way, who may be an angel of death and killing her hospice patient in the nursing home, or the patients in the nursing home, because more die on her watch than any other time. But she does mention that she does work the night shift, which could just be there fading at night. However, she also believes in holistic medicine, and thus that's not a problem with that. Herbal medicine, not holistic. She does believe in like herbal medicine, stuff like that. However, it's not a problem with that, except it's very possible that she's been not giving them her actual medicine and what she believes they should be taking. With herbs, yeah.
Is that really what you want to talk about?
Yes. Medicine.
I've got her on a herbal compound.
Yeah, I fucking knew it!
For pain. Ginkgo for bronchitis. Valerian. Borage. There's a few other things in there as well, but I won't bore you with the full ingredients.
No. Bore me. Her prescriptions.
I don't know. I don't know. I've got her on a herbal compound. St. John's wort for pain, ginkgo for bronchitis, valerian, borage. There's a few other things in there as well, but I won't bore you with the full ingredients. The rules are that you're not supposed to give a patient anything that isn't on their charts. But I talked it over with Hilda first, and she was happy to try the herbal approach.
Do the doctors know?
I don't know anything about that.
If she was happy, then why is she fighting you?
That doesn't really matter. Let's talk.
Toasty?
I don't know everything. That's not something. You're over.
Oh, I can't even type it.
Have you been taking notes?
We talked about it once. He said I should do what I wanted and not worry about what anyone else thought.
That's not what I asked.
Ask me something else. That one's a dud. It's fine. It's not going to hurt her. And the doctors at the home don't care much. They're hardly around anyway. It's the nurses that take care of the patients. Besides, Dr. Dekker didn't have a problem with it.
Yeah. That's a problem. With dating patients either.
It's fine. It's not going to hurt her. And the doctors at the home don't.
Doctors at the home.
I don't know.
Doctors are... nurses.
Is that really what you want to talk about?
What do the other nurses think?
Ask me something else. We talked about it once. He said I should do what I wanted and not worry about what anyone else thought. It's fine. It's not going to hurt her. And the doctors at the home don't care much. They're hardly around anyway. It's the nurses that take care of the patients. Besides, Dr. Dekker didn't have a problem with it.
Did Dr. Dekker know his mother was your patient?
I feel like you're...
Oh.
I've got her on a herbal compound. St. John's wort for pain, ginkgo for bronchitis, valerian, borage. There's a few other things in there as well, but I won't bore you with them. Oh, okay. Well, I'd have to check. I have it written down somewhere.
Give me those ingredients, woman. Do not smile at me. What are you hiding?
I don't know anything about...
What is in your right pocket?
That doesn't really matter. Let's talk about something else. It was nothing. I was just trying to give her meds. It's hard, you know? I'm trying to help her, but she keeps fighting me. It'll be better after she's seen her daughter. I've decided I'm going to do it tonight. She hasn't got much time left. I don't know. Sorry, I wish... I don't know.
Doing what tonight?
Ask me something else.
You said doing it tonight!
Is that really what you want to...
Are you shifting into her daughter?
That's the plan. I know. It sounds unbelievable, like I'm making it up. I wish I could prove it to you somehow. We could try shifting now. Think of someone you really love. It might help if you close your eyes.
Okay.
Are you thinking of them?
Yep.
Can you picture them? Okay. Hold on. Sorry. I don't think it's going to work. On the bright side, that probably means you're not going to die anytime soon.
You think it means they're dying soon?
As far as I know, it only works on people who are close to death. That's the whole point of it. I have to hold their hand, and they have to think of the person, and they have to be near death. And those seem to be the 3 criteria.
Are you giving them all herbal compounds?
I don't know anything about...
What about their medicine?
As far as I know, it only works on people who are close to death. That's the whole point of it. I have to hold their hand, and they have to think of the person, and they have to be near death. And those seem to be the 3 criteria. That doesn't really matter. I feel like... Well, I wasn't sure if it would still work. Sorry. It's just... I get a sense that... I probably shouldn't say, but... Well... Just think what it would mean for you if I'd been able to shift.
I think you are telling yourself that you can't do it here because it doesn't actually work.
I don't know.
The people you are shifting for, you are also giving them herbal compounds.
Sorry, I wish...
Is the herbal compound also. Oh my, oh Lord, my man is cooking me some biscuits and gravy. Good for you. I'm glad. Biscuits and gravy. I should probably make myself some noodles or something. I actually need to stop. Okay. I need to stop. Alright. I need to put this on hold. I'm gonna call it a day. Okay. Also, hey, Toasty, are you hearing anything weird with the audio? Sometimes I hear like a little like weird thing when they get done talking sometimes. When they get done talking. You'll have to rewatch this whole thing, Wills. I mean, some crazy stuff has happened. But I don't remember Dr. Dekker being one of Eileen's patients. Him is doing occasional accent. I don't remember Eileen being one of Dr. Dekker's patients. I do remember apparently them having... But when I say remember, I mean from Dr. Jesse's playthrough. I do remember the whole thing with Mariana where we apparently asked for her email. I don't remember the thing about Jaya and Nathan. I don't remember Jaya coming back for the USB stick. You didn't notice anything weird? Okay, so my headphone headset, which is relatively new, might be doing funny things. I like to hear that. Cool. Excellent. I'm so glad. Alright, well, I have to call it night anyway. So hopefully, I don't know if I'm going to be doing anything this Sunday. If I do, it might be, probably not going to be more Dr. Dekker. I'm going to try not to do it more than once a week. Since I'm only going to do at most twice a week, and I want it to be the only thing I do the whole time. But it's going super long. Jeez Louise. I feel like I'm taking 5 years on this thing. And maybe because I'm only doing like 2 to 3 hours at most. But yeah, I need to rewatch stuff. What was I saying? Oh, so I was thinking about showing off my final thing for the Snow Miku, what I got done. And then possibly going through what was submitted and then figuring out which one I'm going to vote for, because I get to vote for one, I think. So yeah. So that might be what I'm doing Sunday if I can do one Saturday or Sunday. So yeah. And then hopefully I can do it next Thursday. We'll see. Things in this house are going to get kind of weird, Toasty. You already know about that, but I'm not going to really explain what it is. I just don't know if I'll be able to stream that much. I'm going to be trying to do some edited video content. I might try to edit the first couple playthroughs. Oh, she's got a bracelet. Hold on.
I don't know, Doctor. Think, Doctor. Think.
Okay. I think that will be a fun video. Yeah, that's what I was going to think about doing today, but I was like, no, I need to play more Dr. Dekker because I haven't played it in a while. So, yeah, that's probably what I'm going to do this weekend, maybe Saturday or Sunday. And then I'm going to try to do, I guess, more Dr. Dekker Wednesday or Thursday. So that's the plan, Stan. I will try to schedule the streams quite a bit beforehand. And then I might actually make a schedule. Who knows? The only thing is that, like, since... I'll just have to talk to people in the household about it. Okay? Alright. I'll see you later. Thank you for stopping by. Act progress 85%. Overall progress 60%. Halfway done! We're over halfway done! Director, you're doing great. That's a lot of questions. You're understanding them. I don't know about that. But we're over halfway done. Huzzah! Alright. Okay, well, if you're watching this feature, have a wonderful day today. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching this. Bye, Toasty. Goodbye. Goodbye.